Why haven't you started your business yet? It's probably the same reason I never started mine for decades before ultimately taking the leap and bringing my $1 million business dream to life. But you probably tell yourself it's because you're busy, or because the timing isn't right, or because you need to do more research. And that sounds responsible. But if we're being honest, there are a few deeper reasons. Most people never say them out loud, and you might even be feeling them right now. But before I give you the reasons, here's the truth. You don't need more motivation. You need more clarity. Because if you don't have clarity, everything feels risky. And when everything feels risky, you stall. Therefore, you stay in planning mode. You stay in dreaming mode. You stay in someday mode. So let's talk about what's really going on. First, you're secretly not convinced your business idea is good, or at least good enough to become what you want it to become. And the scary part is you felt that conviction before. So last year, you probably had another idea that felt like the one. But now you look back and you don't feel the same way about it. You don't have the same certainty. And that creates doubt, right? But there's no obvious way to turn doubt into assurance. Therefore, you keep iterating in your head. You keep changing the concept. You keep waiting for the moment when it finally feels right. Second, you've tried to become a quick study on the process, and you can't. Not because you're not smart, but because the information just isn't out there. Most business content on YouTube and social media in general is about building a digital business from your bedroom. No capital, no stakes. It's not an accident. It's designed that way because it gets clicks from the widest audience. Those with little or no money to put down, from teens and up. Or if it's a true brick and mortar content, it's almost always a boutique of some sort, and not necessarily the most complicated or intensive build. And if you do find advice on a specific stage in the process, it's usually from an industry expert versus somebody that more resembles the future you. It'll be a lender, a broker, an architect, a general contractor. But they're explaining their slice of the world from their perspective and their own interests. Not the full journey, certainly not from your side of the fence. Therefore, you end up with fragments, random tips, contradictions, and no confidence that you're seeing the whole chessboard. Third, you're not sure what the real cost of commitment actually is. And you're not sure you have enough cash reserves to cover it. And the worst part is, you don't even know what enough even means. Because there are obvious costs, and then there are hidden costs, and the cost of delays, and the cost of change orders. The things you didn't know. Therefore, you don't want to start something that could trap you financially. So you hesitate, rightly so. So fourth, you don't think you can quit your job right now. And you might be right, but you also don't see how you can build a real business while working full time. Because this isn't a hobby, it's a second life. And you can't fully picture how you'll find the time, the focus, or the energy. So therefore, you stay in limbo. You're not all in, you're not out, you're just stuck. Fifth, you like the idea of having a partner or multiple partners because partners feel like a safety net, right? More capital, more skills, more support. But you're not sure if partners are the solution or the beginning of a different problem. Because the wrong partner doesn't reduce risk. It could multiply it. Therefore, you delay the decision. And without that decision, you delay everything else. And six, and this one, it's hard to admit, you don't know if the daydream matches the reality. And you're right to be unsure about this. So you love the emotional lure of being a business owner, the freedom, the identity, the pride, but you don't know how you'll feel when it's Tuesday morning, it's 4 a.m., and you're dealing with payroll and an employee call off and a customer complaint and a repair bill. And you're the one that has to fix it, all of it. Therefore, you hesitate because you're not just afraid the business won't work. You're afraid it will work, and you don't want the life it might create. So if any of this hits, here's the takeaway. You're not behind, and you're not broken, but you are trying to make a life-changing decision without a structure that makes it feel safe to move forward. Therefore, the answer isn't a leap. It's a sequence. It's a roadmap. A way to turn uncertainty into steps. And here's the best part. You don't need to solve all of it today, but you do need to take one reversible step. Therefore, you stop trying to feel ready and you start building readiness through action. The great news? The first next step is fun and almost risk-free. You start the process of ideation, but this time, not with daydreaming, with structure and with rigor. When your idea becomes solidified, then everything else becomes easier and less risky. If you want help with that process, the first module of our brick and mortar masterclass is available separate from the rest of the course, because maybe you determine your idea isn't ready yet, but could be with a little more time and a little more refinement.